All right, well, I don't even know if this video is going to make it today, but we'll see how it goes. I'll try and just document a day in the shop. Got a nice little 038 Magnum. I'm going to clean the cylinder up on this. I did pressure and vacuum test. It's tight as a tick, so that's good news. I did put a carburetor kit. This is an unusual carburetor. This German Bing carburetor from back in the day. Plastic lever arm, and the best I can figure that why this failed, these diaphragms are pretty crunchy, so that's a good start. Got a Meteor piston to go in there, and we should be good to go. Already did a couple on spot repairs. BR600, oof, but it still runs. Had leaky fuel lines on it, and went in and serviced it. Valves were way out of whack. It was incredibly hard to pull over. I mean, it was in awful need of a service, but runs like champ. On to the next one. Cylinder cleaned up nice. Transfer's gone. Got our fresh piston right there. I'm gonna have to reuse this gasket. I don't have a spare, but we'll just I'll get this as clean as I can, and use a little bit of Moto Seal to get that tidied up. Here's what I use. I just use this is a long burr bit that's got a straight head on it, and just tape some 320 sanding paper to it, clean it up nice and easy, and then I always finish up with a little bit of Scotch-Brite just to make sure there's anything else. I'll flush that out real good and get this thing back together. Should work like a champ. You know, some things you just can't bench test. Anyway, I took it outside, fired it up. The chain's spinning, which means, oh, by the way, this is a pretty elaborate oiling system. So you're gonna take the whole side cover off. There's a snap ring that holds some stuff together. Anyway, so I bumped this with the impact and took the clutch off. And I've got a broken spring. So one of the clutch shoes is dragging. Let's see if we can. That was nice and tight. That was nice and tight. And one of these was loose, I swear. Anyway, I'm gonna swap it out, and we'll get it running. Pretty amazing how quiet this little saw is. And that, and another thing, it's been a while since I've worked on anything that had flathead screws on it. But you settle right down, idle nice, rev nice. That's a nice save right there. This 038 Magnum's in incredibly good condition. Okay, it's definitely time to get on to the next one. Next up, I got a little 151. It's pretty new. Bar stud wants to back out, so whenever you use some Loctite on this, you really got to get it super clean. The only downfall of any kind of Loctite adhesive or gasket maker or something like that, you got to have super clean surface. So the catch is that stud hole goes straight into the bar oil tank. So it's going to be contaminated. So I'm going to drain the bar oil out and get that buttoned up. All right, here's an MS260. I got a video from the customer, and every time he gripped the trigger, it would fall on its face. So he played it like an air guitar and sent that to me. He was a little frustrated. Anyway, it ran good for an hour before that. I had just serviced it. So let's get a little deeper into this and see if I can't play some air guitar or make this a non-air guitar kind of saw. All right, here's a cold start. tuning adjustment. I've seen this on a couple of the newest shafts. The shaft got damaged so bad that it was actually cheaper to replace the entire assembly from steel as opposed to rebuilding it. It was just too much bent and broken. But even though this clamp right here is nice and tight, it's still not enough to keep it from spinning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and take the power head off of here, take that clamp, and I'm just going to shave a little bit of material from the seam so it'll actually clamp a little tighter. We'll see if that does it. Sure frustrating though. Here's a pro tip. You ever want to get into this, that saw head needs to be extended all the way out. Right now you've got a bunch of springs in here compressed. If I loosen this up to take it off, it is going to eject the rest of the components out. I don't mind putting it back together, but I don't have to. So just gonna loosen up the head, extend this all the way, and take the tension off of all the pieces and parts in the shaft. That ought to do it. Just used a sanding disc on my, where we at? Right there. And that was enough. Give me some clearance to get in here and relieve a little bit of this. So this way, when I tighten this up, it's gonna pinch that shaft a little harder and we should be good to go. All right, shaved a little bit out of there. And that's on there tighter than Dick's hat band. So we're on to the next one. More stuff. I got a pair of 201 TCM. This one right here looks like it lost the, where we go? There we go. So the screw backed out that holds that AV buffer inside the handle, which allowed it to go farther than it was supposed to, which also in turn, I get a little bit of light on there, your wires down in there. It's really not a good look. One of those wires is broken. So we're gonna throw a new wiring harness at this, which means taking the top handle assembly apart and all the linkages, take the carb off, and looks like we're gonna shore up this pull cord while we're here. And this one doesn't want to idle. Just gonna do some basic stuff first. Fuel looks good inside it. It will start and run. It'll fall down on its face occasionally when you come off a throttle. Quite possibly an air leak. I'll vacuum and pressure test it after. I'm just gonna throw a fresh fuel filter and a fresh spark plug at it and see if it repeats that. It's a little lethargic on idle, so we'll get into it a little deeper here in a minute. All right, these two are gonna go on the back burner. I'm gonna get them done at the same time. Here's a little known fact, and you won't hear this from Steel, you'll just hear it from me. This is a very early 201 TCM. Okay, so it's got the first generation ignition coil and fuel solenoid. Here, let me get you in a little closer. So that piece right there is what pulses the fuel when it calls for more or less. All right, so that replaces your adjustment screws. All right, so what's gonna happen is if I replace this with the new upgraded white one, it will be problematic. There is some incompatibility there that is not a very well-known issue. I've never had a problem with it in any of the other older Mtronic saws. Unfortunately, you know, this first iteration of that fuel solenoid, admittedly from Steel, had about 100, 150 hour to 200 hour max shelf life. And if it got any crud in it, so what you see now is the new and improved fuel filters that are orange. Those are high flow, tighter micron filters. Both of these saws have the same issue. So we're going to upgrade the ignition coil to version 3 and then upgrade the fuel solenoid to the white solenoid. Those I've yet to have one fail. It's almost a thing of the past. And given how old these will both get carburetor kits and get the carburetors cleaned as well. So I'm going to push these to the side, and believe it or not, I've got 2 more 201s from another place, and at some point in time this afternoon I've got somebody coming with another 151 so I can put this handle on there. He broke his in half, so this will just be a plug and play thing. They're not nearly as easy to do as the 201 handle replacements. The 151 handles a little bit more in depth. But anyway, let's take a look at these next two 200 or 201s. Okay, got sidetracked with some late afternoon pickups and drop-offs, and ooh, can you fix this? Clutch springs are in there. She's good to go. This is not oiling. I definitely need to drain the tank, flush the system. The oilers on these don't go bad. They just get clogged up. Keep in mind that like every time you take this cap off or that cap off, a few crumbs fall in. So, you do that over and over and over and over and over again, and you're going to have plenty of crumbs, and you need to clean everything out. We're going to call it a day. This today in the shop is what helps me get to projects like that. So in the perfect world, I was going to pull this cylinder, take it to work, machine the top end on it. But I've still got all this stuff, and more stuff shows up today. I've got a sniper, a push mower, a tiller, and all right, tomorrow's a new day. Thanks y'all for watching. If you found this remotely entertaining in this little squirrel life that I live, throw me a like, subscribe, and tomorrow is a brand hammer new day.